Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October 2024 Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Roundtable. It's great to have everybody here. Um, and I think we've got a very interesting program this evening, and I'm looking forward to hearing it, just as I hope you are. So tonight's um, main topic will be the Seton Scout Naturalist program. And Marty Brazeau, did I say your name right? I hope, Marty?
It's Brazo, but that's fine.
Brazeau. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Marty Brazeau. Will be our presenter tonight from Baltimore Area Council. Um, and with that, I think we'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance. And so if you haven't already, please mute your microphones and join me. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Yeah. Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And the outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, to be considerate in the outdoors, be conservation minded. With that, we'd like to start, as with all meetings, with a safety moment. Michelle, can you please take us through healthy parks, healthy people?
Yep. So with COVID and stuff, I think there was a bigger push with the sheer number of visitors that are attending national park or visiting national parks and national public lands, that they have put together this lovely series of NPS articles and videos on how what the benefits of being outside are doing for people, and then also how to act responsibly in these new crowded environments that are our national public lands. And so, did you know, just for fun, nature makes you smarter. In just 20 minutes, nature improves concentration and reduces the need for ADHD and ADD meds in children. Walking through nature also improves cognitive function and memory. Nature makes you stronger. Exercising in nature leads to greater health benefits than performing the same activity indoors. It can make you healthier. A 30-minute visit to a park can improve your heart health, circulation. Listening to songbirds and observing animals have shown to promote well-being and reduce stress, improve your mood, and reduce attention fatigue. Those natural aromas also have a calming effect, and viewing nature reduces mental fatigue. Nature can make you happier. Frequent exposure reduces anxiety and depression. Physical activity in green space can reduce stress and lower cortisol levels by 15%. And make you more productive. Physical activity in a green space can improve cognitive control, short and long-term memory, and overall brain function. Consider this: children who walk 20 minutes in a park concentrate in school longer and have better participation. The mental attention restoration achieved from walking in nature can improve performance on tasks in school and in work. Next.
Sorry.
There. However, your safety is your responsibility while hiking. Don't overestimate abilities. Take time to ask yourself before you go: what is my experience level with hiking? How much equipment, food, and water can I comfortably carry in a backpack? Am I physically fit for a hike I would like to do? Have I ever hiked in this type of environment before? Am I able to go to higher elevations? Am I hiking alone, or do I plan to bring a friend? So some things to consider: pick the right trail for you and your group, leave a trip plan, have an emergency plan, have a way to communicate, be weather ready, have a plan B, check for park alerts, and acclimate to that new altitude. And remember, your cell phone is not a great way of communication when you are out in the park. It is not a light source. It is not your map. It is not a survival kit, and it is not always going to have reception. With that, something to think about.
Thank you, Michelle. All right. With that, I would like to introduce Marty Brazeau from the Baltimore Area Council's Conservation Committee. They've started a really, really interesting program. I think we're all looking forward to hearing about. So with that, Marty, can you take over from here? And you're muted. There you go.
All right, thank you, Paul. I really appreciate you inviting me to present today about the program. So I'm going to share my screen now. All right, I have been presenting this program since 1986 in various formats, and I find that it's a great program to get Scouts interfacing with nature. And you can see the different programs I've presented. Lately, I've been presenting the program in the Baltimore area. I also presented it at Massawepie Scout Camp and Camp Rodney and Camp Santa Quippy. So I've had several different renditions of the program. A Scout Naturalist is there's this thing, there's something in the way here. I don't know, there's like a little, I have to move this down here. Scout Naturalist. A Scout is an adult leadership position. So the Scout Naturalist program is not just for Scouts, but also adult leaders. Wouldn't it be great if every Scout troop, Cub Pack, or venturing crew had a trained Seton Scout Naturalist leading youth and adults to learn and interface with nature while in the outdoors? I just want to tell you a bit about my background. I've been doing nature education ever since I was young. I worked at a scout camp, Bride Creek Scout Camp, where I'm now presenting the program. And I've enjoyed working as an environmental educator in different camps. And one of the things I really loved doing was I worked at several canoe bases, and I was known for being the eco nature guide. And I found that when I did share nature, the Scouts really gravitated towards it. In one summer, I had a crew that I did a lot of neat stuff. I shared information about trees and birds and played nature games to learn about the ecology of the area. And I told stories. And 2 years later, the Scoutmaster actually asked that I return. So I went back up to camp and led a backpacking trip for them. I also worked at Wisconsin Canoe Base, and they had a really neat program where before the crews came, they actually had an environmental education program where I led. We had 2 trainers where we would train the Scouts to be an environmental educator for their crew when they went on a canoe trip. So it was a neat program. One of the issues I think the Scout Naturalist program addresses is what they call nature deficit disorder. Young people are not exploring nature as pretty much all of us probably realize. Not as much as when we were young. We used to go and wander in the woods. So he wrote, there's a gentleman named Richard Loeb, probably speaking to the choir. Some of you have probably read the book. It describes how increasing divide between the young and the natural world and the environmental, social, psychological, spiritual implications. It also describes the accumulating research that reveals the necessity of contact with natural, healthy child and adult development. So the Scout Naturalist program, since it guides Scouts to basically do nature programming with their Scout units, it addresses the need. So some of the needs are not a lot of people aren't going out as much. There's also parental fears. A lot of us can't just wander in the woods anymore without parents knowing. Also restricted access to outdoor areas. Increased screen time. A lot of young people are playing video games and you're not spending as much time outside. Also, there is sometimes a perception among some young people that nature's not as cool. And there's also competing activities that are also outdoors, but they don't have direct contact with nature, learning about plants, birds, learning about the ecology, out interfacing. So I went to I went to a graduate school in outdoor education in Northern Illinois. And part of my project was I interviewed actually more than 4 different troops to find out where they most learned about nature. And asked like merit badges or different other areas. But the conclusion in a nutshell is the study revealed that Scouts believe they learn most about nature if their leader had training and an interest in leading nature programs during troop meetings, weekend outings, and summer high adventure programming. And that's why I decided to create the Seton Scout Naturalist program. In 1986 is the first time I led the program. So I wanted to show you the video, which actually has footage from several different programs that I've led over the years and explains the program. So I'm going to show you the video. And then now this is, most of this is going to explain the weekend program. Then I want to delve into a week-long program, which is more intensive and also gives them more training than in a weekend training.
Have you ever seen a Baltimore oriole? You might see an oriole or perhaps a red-headed woodpecker during our springtime Seton Scout Naturalist weekend training at Broad Creek Scout Reservation. Our program is named after Ernest Thompson Seton, who was an artist naturalist, a friend of Native Americans, a youth leader, and one of the founding fathers of the Boy Scouts of America. Ernest Thompson Seton and Baden Powell authored the first Boy Scout of America handbook in 1910. Julie Seton, granddaughter of Ernest Thompson Seton, a leader of the Seton Institute, now offering naturalist scholarships, supports our program and serves on our training staff. You'll see her at the Black Walnut Stop on our YouTube Saffron Nature Trail video. If you are a scout 14 and over or an adult leader, you're invited to join our program.
The second year, it grows really tall and then it gets these flowers. That's how you know it's tall.
I'm John. I'm from National Pike District, here taking the Seton Naturalist training.
You can join the many scouts and adults who are now serving as Seton Scout Naturalists for their units. You will develop naturalist leader skills as you learn how to lead an owl and frog walk, nature trail hike, stream study, wildlife focused hike, nature themed campfire, and conservation project. Our friendly instructors are talented and believe keep it simple, make it fun. At the end of the weekend, you will be awarded the Seton Scout Naturalist Oriole Badge. Button the patch to your scout shirt. Wear it with pride. Members of your Cub Pack, Scout Troop, or venturing crew can also earn the Shirt Pocket Oriole Badge after you present a nature-themed weekend at Broad Creek. When you visit a national park, there's always an interpretive naturalist to inform you about nature as you head down the trail. You will be able to be like a national park naturalist for your scout unit.
This is a pawpaw plant and the caterpillar of the Ziegler tiger swallowtail.
These are edible to humans, but this one right here is rotten, so don't eat it if it looks like this. Right there.
We will model all the activities you will present during our training. Join other Scout Naturalist trainees on the Saffron Nature Pond Ecology Trail as we together discover how the area has changed since the camp was established in 1948, from a farmer's field to a forest. Scout Naturalist and training staff appear in the Saffron Nature Trail online video. Here are some excerpts.
This is the eastern red cedar. Cedar is a slow-growing conifer pioneer, one of the first trees to grow in full sunlight when this area was a field. Why are the lower branches of this tree dying? Over time, as the soil improved, faster-growing trees moved in to overtake the cedar, reducing the sunlight it needs to thrive.
Thanks, Ethan, and I'm going to be talking about nature pond frogs. Frogs are amphibians with a smooth skin that leap. Tadpoles eat algae and protozoans using scraping mouthparts.
And that beetle in the last, I think the last 7 years has really helped, again, protect the hemlock so it can live long and be out here for us to enjoy.
There's a pileated woodpecker up there.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I'm one of the instructors for the Seton Naturals program here at Broad Creek. And we're at Nature Trail Station 17, and I'm standing in front of a very special tree. Anybody know what kind of tree it is? Pine tree. It's a pine tree.
Hello, my name is Rory, and today we're gonna question people about the fish that are in this pond. What is this fish?
Sunfish.
I'm Anna, and at this final stop on the trail, you need to be on the lookout for dragons, dragonflies specifically. So on a warm, sunny day, you'll often see them perched and resting on tall blades of grass, cattails, or other small sticks sticking out of the pond. It has this large pincher here with these mouth parts that it uses to grab its prey.
A scary dragonfly nymph surely wouldn't let it be a mosquito larvae in the pond.
Hi, I'm Super Marty. I am a naturalist. I want to tell you about number 14. If you look
15,
right here.
15,
That one's
15.
not in the nature trail. by the
Don't
way.
forget, after your nature hike, everyone will have fun playing frisbee golf game where at every hole you count the number of throws and answer questions from what was learned on the nature trail. You will see some colorful birds during 2 bird hikes. You'll also learn how to use the Merlin app to identify birds with your cell phone. You will have fun getting your feet wet as you conduct a stream study to determine the health of Deep Run, a Chesapeake Bay tributary.
Find a few different background over this. Now, what I do is I take a rock and I use that to kind of kick up this substrate.
Things on that rock there. Dragon.
Wow, look at this.
Yeah, there's no worm to that dragonfly. I love the.
Time for a wildlife-focused hike through the Broad Creek Wilderness Area. Scouts will complete a fun scavenger hunt to learn about the plants and animals along the trail.
Hi, my name's Atticus, and I'm on a lovely little trail beneath the dam, and I'm here to tell you about the pawpaw tree.
The hike will also feature a geology-focused hike to the Serpentine Quarry. On the way back to camp, everyone spreads out along the trail for a solo experience. At the end of the solo, Allison shows everyone her watercolor illustration of an orchid found near her sit spot. Elijah shares his poem that describes the zebra swallowtail seen visiting flowers. Grant was sitting on a rock near a stream during his solo. He's excited to tell everyone about the colorful bird he saw taking a bath. At dusk, we look for owls and enhance our night vision.
Your iris expands, makes your pupil bigger when it's really dark. That way it lets in more light.
Phone apps will help you identify frogs during the night hike. That must be a green frog. Scout Naturalists learn how to lead a nature-themed campfire.
Anything that got down.
I went to the woods because I wish to live life deliberately, to confront only the essential facts of life.
You will also participate in a round-robin workshop learning how to lead conservation projects, such as making and installing bluebird boxes and removing invasive plants. You will have printed lesson plans to guide you. From the Saffron headquarters, you'll be able to borrow most of the equipment you'll need to present your program. Seton Scout Naturalist graduates will be invited to serve on the Cub family weekend staff leading nature hikes. You will be given a cap with the Seton Scout Naturalist embroidered logo to keep and wear as you lead your nature hike for Cub Scouts.
This is a black birch tree. This is the tree you get birch beer from.
Participants enjoyed the program.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm from Venture and Crew 726. I had a lot of fun and I learned a whole bunch of new activities and new skills I have in the woods. I'm excited to bring it back to my venture and crew.
I think a lot of us are experienced woodsmen, but this training was great to allow us to reach a little deeper into the forest, so to speak, and know what we're looking at, and take that information and be able to relay it to others.
We are proud that the Seton Scout Naturalist program was featured in the April 2022 issue of Scout Life magazine.
Are you a scout or adult leader interested in gaining naturalist skills? There will be another offering of the Seton Scout Naturalist program in the spring of 2025 at Camp Saffron. For more information, contact Marty Brazeau at scoutnaturalist@gmail.com.
Click on the link in the video information below to register for the season.
Okay, so that explains the weekend program. Now, from the weekend program, we did get some scouts and adults, and actually Walt, who's in on the session, he actually put together a weekend program at the local park. So I want to show everyone what he's able to do with this training.
That very few people get to see. People go to the cabin camping weekends, people go to camporees. Unless someone takes you back here, you don't know what's here. 1,800 acres is a lot of land. And this is well protected and private.
As a result of his training, Walt presented a Seton Scout Naturalist program at Oregon Ridge, a local park. A flyer was handed out that explained all the fun activities scouts would partake in as they learned about nature during the weekend. They examined rocks to learn about the geology in the area. He also visited the Nature Center to learn about how the area once had an iron mine. And they also learned about how the area changed from a field to a forest over many years. They also participated in a stream study. Walt invited me to help lead a 5-mile forest hike in the park. We discovered interesting plants and animals along the trail. Scouts were able to interface with nature as a result of the Seton Scout Naturalist program at Oregon Ridge Park. At the end of the program, scouts were required to remember facts about plants and animals and to steal the bacon-type game. On Sunday, Walt invited an edible plants expert to share his knowledge.
So that's
very few.
So that now also Walt is also now a master naturalist. As a result of the program, he was able to get his master naturalist certification, Oregon Ridge Park. Now, so as a result of the program, there are lots of benefits for Scout councils. One of them is if the program is conducted and there's a lot of follow-up. In other words, if there's a person coordinating and following up with the scouts, you can have a lot of scouts serving as the naturalists for their scout unit. There's also, if there's a lot of successful Scout Naturalist program, maybe we'll get some more scouts participating in the Distinguished Conservation Award. Also, Scout Naturalists would be ideal for Leave No Trace outdoor ethics, serving as guides in that area. Nature trek leaders someday working at Maine National High Adventure Area. I'm getting too old for that. So also conservation committee members, a lot of councils could use some new blood and some younger blood perhaps in their conservation committees. And also they could be, sometimes scout camps have a hard time finding qualified people to work in the ecology, conservation, nature area. So that is a beneficial program. And also once the program is underway in your council, the people that were in the program, like Walt, who participated as a participant in 2021 and served on the staff twice. And then Ryan does bluebird boxes. Myself, I do a lot of, Julie participates. I'm the bird expert in the program, Toby. So we have a lot of people that are gravitating towards nature in the leadership area. And we've done several programs where the scouts receive jackets. This in 2022, they all led nature hikes for Cub Scouts, and they got a sweatshirt, and that helps them motivate them to be a naturalist for the troops since they have the jacket or the sweatshirt. Now, currently, the weekend program is very successful in getting scouts to lead nature hikes during Cub family weekends. In fact, this past May, we led about 18 different hikes throughout the day. We actually, when people arrive, we schedule them. So to prepare for that, before the weekend training, scouts were emailed a video of the nature trail and also the guide, and they were asked to read over it. And this is the example of the guide that I sent as a PDF to them. And then we played a Jeopardy game on a Zoom meeting before the actual weekend, and that saves time. The meeting was 2 hours long, and it prevents us from having to spend too much time on picnic tables and spending as much time outdoors during the weekend. So they answer, there's several different questions about what was on the nature trail. So when they led the nature hike, they seemed to know all the information to share. And then during the family cub weekends, when people arrived, we scheduled them for a block of time or where they could go on the hike. And then we gave them a ticket, and almost everyone showed up right at the time for the nature hike, and we had a great time. The Cubs loved it. Cubs are the greatest audience for nature hikes. Now, also, when we led the program in 2022, we had the scout leaders actually evaluate the scouts after they led the nature hike, and that kind of put them on the task. And so the scouts, and the adults in the program, like Walt, they all had a list of things that we were looking for. They were smiling, they introduced themselves, they summarized what was learned on the hike. So there was like a evaluation instrument, fun evaluation, and most of them got very good reviews. I mean, they all did, actually. So like I said, this time we actually ordered 285 patches, and when they presented nature themed program during the weekend, we actually have several groups from this past training that are going to be putting a weekend together, and we have these patches that we ordered. We also had someone come up from Texas who donated money, more than $1,000, because they really liked the program. And we also bought some hats. So when they lead a Cub Scout hike, they get a Seton Scout Naturalist hat. And this is a father and son team. They were great the whole weekend. And this past weekend. We had a smaller group, and it was a rainy weekend, but they were the most enthusiastic group I've ever had before. Incredible group. And we made a online nature trail as a result of the weekend. That's now on YouTube. Now, I wanted to talk about the most successful program we had was a week-long program. Whoops. And I think Scouts soared high because now, as a result, they did have an apple or carrot where they would get a jacket if they presented a nature themed weekend. And there was a lot of people that presented weekends. There's always a few that didn't follow through, but most everyone presented a weekend. So this is if in a week-long program, you could do so much more than a weekend. A weekend goes by so quickly. So I want to quickly go through some of the things that happened during the week-long program where they were able to get really good training. So throughout the week, we used field guides and apps. Every day we had a solo experience where they had their own sit spot and they wrote in a journal. And that's something that we encouraged them to do with their scout troops or cub packs during the nature theme weekend they present. We also enabled them to do some requirements for merit badges, but that's not the mainstay of the program. But they did some things that they could pass off, some requirements, several bird hikes. Now, it's very important that you present a week-long program early in the summer. In August in 2018, it was very hot. It was done in August, and we didn't see too many birds. What we did on Wednesday morning, we did go on a canoe trip, and we saw eagles and lots of wildlife out in the Chesapeake Bay. Now, the other thing about the week-long program, it allows you to do a lot of nature gaming. The weekend program, you just don't have enough time. So we were able to do several different games, from sharing nature with children, Project Wild, and I actually developed my own game called the Mountain Lion game, which is very popular, that I've developed, where they learned about predator-prey relationships. And also throughout the week, we shared quotations. There's a book by Steve Van Meter called The Earth Speaks, and it has a lot of neat quotations. Henry David Thoreau, Ernest Thompson Seton, Rachel Carson. And throughout the week, we led songs. So if you do a program that's a week-long program, it's a godsend if you have someone who plays the guitar. There's a lot of nature-themed songs, like the All God's Critters Got a Place in the Choir by Bill Staines. There's just some really neat things you can do throughout the whole week. And it also prepares them for the campfire. Now, the other neat thing about the summer program was they had some time to do the rec things, free boating, free swimming, archery. So we did allow some time to do that. And then we also had special people come in for the week. A wildlife biologist came in and brought lots of snakes and turtles. And that's something we encourage them to invite people like that to their troop meetings or during their nature themed weekend. We had a forest ranger take them on a hike and explain the conditions of the forest and what's happening and how the deer have affected the forest and the neat things about the forest, like forest levels and how forest rangers manage the forest. And that turned up on the nature hike that they put together, the nature trail. We actually put a nature trail together during the week. And also we had a canoe trip. And like I said, in Massawepie, I actually had a whole week where we did a canoe trip. It was a 2-week program at Massawepie. So we actually had a whole week-long canoe trip. And then also an all-day hike, or most of the day, where you study wildlife as you walk down the trail, usually go on a circuit hike. And then the other thing, so I've created 2 nature trails, one at Camp Rodney and one at Broad Creek that is actually online. It's on YouTube. It's the only, if you type nature trail scout camp, it's the only 2 things that show up on YouTube. So there's procedure we went through to create the nature trail. So we all took everyone in the program in 2018 and also this past May on a sample nature hike. And then we went over how to interpret nature with a watered down or more easy to understand how to lead Freeman Tilden's program. Then everyone in teams of 2 or some solo selected items along the trail, and then they actually researched them and they wrote up a nature trail description. They used field guides, and actually at Rodney they had a computer lab, and they were able to use the computer lab to write up a description. And of course, the staff supervised them, but also kind of suggested ways of writing a description that is really fun. We actually installed the posts, and that made them feel like they belonged to the nature trail. The posts were already routed beforehand, but they actually got to dig a hole and install them. And it's incredible, the nature trail at Rodney and Broad Creek. Then also the naturalists led nature hikes to each other. And then at this past weekend in May, and we filmed the opening. That's what you saw in the video. We also record the narration and video of them introducing each topic along the trail, each stop, trees or birds or whatever. And then the other innovation is we play disc golf. And at each stop, at each hole, which is a hula hoop, we have a question about which was mentioned in the video. And then when they led the nature hike, I gave them, I call a nature prompter, where they got to kind of, if they forgot the name of a bird or what they were going to say, they could look at the laminated card. So everyone got a laminated card to help them along the way. Just like on Saturday Night Live, they have teleprompter, we have nature prompters. So the naturalists led hikes, and it was a self-esteem experience to lead a hike. And also it's something that can be considered for communication merit badge. So that's another merit badge part of the program. They could get credit. Now the last part of the program was the campfire, and that kind of put everything together. But throughout the week, we were actually able to, they knew the songs. We also did a nose bag drama where I gave them a bunch of various household items, and they made a nature skit, song leading, all these things happen. And then for the Rodney program, we went over the requirements for getting their jacket. And so we have the requirements, and we had several, like I said, most of the people in the program followed through and presented a nature thing program. And I just want to talk about Rohan and Matthew that are circled. They did an incredible job. And it's funny because their grandmother was on a scholarship committee where they actually gave us some money to get scholarships, and they actually participated in the program. And in the email sent to me, Ms. Nadolny said, Matthew and Rohan completed the night hike with their scout troop this past weekend at Gunpowder State Park. Surprisingly, older boys enjoyed playing bat and moth game. They also have plans to do the stream study with the Cub Scouts on Sunday at Hemlock Gorge. I think the other benefit of the program is to have the younger people leading the programs rather than older people like ourselves. It's nice to have the younger people leading, and younger adults, and also older adults, of course. And this is their the paper that was sent to me where they finished all the requirements. There's also, just like a merit badge, there were some optional things they could do. And they actually came up a year and a half later, and they grew like a foot, and they actually helped us put in 10 more stops of the Rodney Nature Trail. In 2018, we put 10 stops, and then a year and a half later in the fall, we put in 10 more stops, and they came up for that. And Rohan grew, like I said, quite a bit. He looks like a different kid because he grew so much. And now he's in college. Now we also, I actually got scholarship funding several times, and I find that I was easy getting money. When I told them they were going to be naturalists for their scout troop, most of the people I asked for gave me some money. So like the 2018, I asked for like $300, and they said yes. And then you also made sure that the scouts themselves paid some of the fee, so that they have ownership in the program, and they don't just not show up. But it was now, and I got the idea because I worked for 4 summers at New York in the Department of Environmental Conservation DEC camps, and almost all of the kids that participated in the teenage and young adult programs were got scholarships from game clubs and Audubon societies. So now, and another example is Oregon Ridge Nature Center, which is where Walt gave us a weekend. They sponsored a couple scouts in 2018, and they asked for them to lead a nature hike as exchange for the scholarship, which is great. And here's Bonnie leading a nature hike, and in the background, you can see another leader. There's several leaders back there. The 3 in the back, these are scout naturalists. Now, there's levels of participation. Some just attend the program, they don't follow through. Some of them complete the ticket, and they get a jacket, and they get an oil patch. And a few of them, well, hopefully, or maybe a lot of them, will become a naturalist for their troop. And then some of them may end up in the National Park Service. Actually, Grayson, one of the participants in the video, is now working for the National Park Service. So there's some infrastructure needed to run the program. Volunteers, we have a Baltimore Area Council Conservation Committee is great at volunteering for the program. One of the things that every camp should have is a nice nature area. And if you do have Seton Scout Naturalists, and eventually they could be providing nature-themed programming during the weekends in the spring and fall. And also, it's very important that you have council support of the program. That's very important to promote the program. This is just something I said that would be nice if Ben DeLater also had a Seton Scout Naturalist program and promoted it. And maybe they had a Frisbee golf course. So the council needs to have ownership to the program and support it and promote it. If this program it would be nice if this program became national. There'd be a lot of benefits. More nature hikes would be given at camps. Outdoor ethics could be spliced into the hike. Your camp will gain a successful nature trail. Like since we've been doing the program, we've been able to maintain a really successful nature trail at camp. And the brochures are given out at the headquarters, and they help with the merit badges. Scouts and Cubs and Venturers would be more nature discovery oriented. This would be nice if Naturals Leader Development at the National Park Service will soon be visiting the National Jamboree to recruit scout naturalists to serve as nature interpreters in the parks. Like I said, it would be great if this was a nationwide USA Scouting program, but over the years, maybe that will happen. Now, for my sake, I'm very much interested in if another council is interested in doing a week-long program, I would be more than happy to help do the program. We could work together to plan over Zoom, recruit volunteers to present, develop a program tailored to your ecosystem, publish educational materials. I have a manual that I created that could be adapted to your area. We would need to have 2 weeks to set up a nature trail. In other words, another benefit of this program, if you did the week-long program, is we could actually set up a nature trail for your camp. And then, so the first week would be training the staff, lay out the trail, create numbered posts, do some staff training. And then the second week would be presenting the program. I'd also be able to serve as a consultant if you want to present a Scout Naturalist program in your area. And I also have a website that has links to educational materials. Eventually, I mean, if the national office or if it was adapted nationwide, we'd have a Seton Scout Naturalist manual with lesson plans and training. So I've always thought it'd be neat to have this kind of program. And I actually have a YouTube channel. If you just type Scout Naturalist channel on YouTube, it pops right up. And I have my Camp Rodney video, my Saffron video. I also have a video about a dream of doing nature-themed canoe trips. And I also have videos that I use to train scouts. And I actually have PDFs of different activities that, so if anyone would like a link to the trail, you can just email me, link to the website rather. And my website, you could just email me at scoutnaturalist@gmail.com. I'm very good at responding to emails. So that's my presentation.
All right. Well, thank you, Marty. I have to say that there are so many ideas going through my head as you were going through this. I was thinking about so many different possibilities, and I really appreciate your sharing all your great ideas. So yeah.
Paul, the first question is, how many councils or camps is this at?
I presented it at Camp Rodney and Camp Massawepie and Broad Creek. I've done and Sinaquippi was the first time I did the program when I was fresh out of grad school. But I had to change jobs and I wasn't able to continue the program. But yeah, so it's pretty much presented at Broad Creek at the moment. But I would love to share my idea and also enable other Scout councils to present a similar program. Of course, you throw your own creativity into the program too, but yeah, so that's why I'm actually sharing it, to encourage other Scout councils to present a program like this.
This is Walt Windish. I wanted to just add one comment to everything Marty has said. First of all, Marty, it's clear just how committed and creative you are in developing this course. It really was something that sprung forth from your imagination, your recognition of the desire for our scouts and scouters to get outdoors again. One thing that I'd add that you didn't happen to mention, because there's so much in these programs, you can't mention everything. This is a meeting of the National Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Committee. So that said, I want to make sure people hear that we do include the Leave No Trace steps, the 7 steps. And I actually teach that using the hand signs. And that's part of our program. As our safety moment, we also we teach scouts about dangerous wildlife in Maryland, which in Maryland, a lot of the dangerous wildlife is things like poison ivy and ticks. So it's, not megafauna, but it is worth knowing about. We try to make sure that the scouts are all really good consumers of nature information. We try to raise their awareness about what's out there and being able to see it and to show it when they're on hikes. And Marty's done an extraordinary job of developing quite an original program. I'm delighted to be associated with him.
Thank you, Walt.
I got another question came in here. Wayne from Houston asked, oh, I'm sorry, Wade, sorry. The chat scrolled on me while I was reading it. But anyway, how do I present this program to my council? I'm on the council conservation committee for Sam Houston.
Well, I think the best way is to get in contact with me at scoutnaturalist@gmail.com. Email me, and we could set up a Zoom meeting and discuss any kinds of ways. I mean, I could share my information, my website, some of the ideas. You'd have to adapt some of the things to your area, of course. We don't have the same vegetation, but I'd be glad to work with you. I am offering to actually spend a couple of weeks at another camp in another part of the country. So I would be more than happy to, you know, to participate that way. And I mean, maybe every summer I could go out and go to another camp and then share the information. And then you could continue the program every year. And then, of course, you know, once you know the program, you could do the same thing. So it could be that kind of like, you know, we can share it. And like I said, everyone contribute their own ideas, and it's not just my program, but it could be everyone's program. But contact me. I'm so good at responding to emails, and I get frustrated when people don't respond right away. I'm just so email oriented. So I don't go on Snapchat. So
He is quick on emails. I will vouch for that. So
Paul, there was an earlier question on, are you getting council funding for the swag for the scouts, or are you going for private contributions?
okay, for the hats, the gentleman from Texas gave us $1,000, so we used that to buy the hats. And I'm going to contribute some of my own. We're putting up a sign, so I'm going to be paying for that. And then the patches were also funded. We bought 285 patches, and we're going to be writing up requirements for earning the patches. And then there's going to be an article in the Area Scouter about how they can earn the patches. And then, of course, we're going to point to the Seton Scout Naturalist program as a good way of getting the skills so that they can get the patch. And the jackets, when we did the week-long program, it's part of the scholarship funding. And then we had to actually charge more in 2022 when we gave out sweatshirts. And we charged $100 and then some of the money went to buy the jackets or the sweatshirts.
was there anything else, Michelle? Don't think.
Yeah, one from Wayne. When are you going to do a week at Philmont? And what year did you earn your OTE degree at Laredo Taft Field campus? I got mine in 71.
Oh, wow. I graduated in 1985, and I went to Philmont in 1973, and we kept hiking and never stopped, and I only saw 2 different birds, but I'd love to go back. I would love to, I mean, wouldn't mind doing this program as part of the training center. Of course, I don't know I don't know all the plants, so maybe someone that from that area could, I'm not sure of all. I'm very good at birds though, so I could identify the birds in your area, but some of the plants I won't know. But yeah, so Philmont, I know they have a really good program at Philmont during the summer, which is similar to this, where they do a lot of conservation work and they do a lot of nature. I can't remember the name of it. You could probably tell me, Wayne, what the name of the program is. Just escapes my mind, but so there have been similar programs in the past. Like I said, the program at Wisconsin National Lacuna Base was very much like the Scout Naturalist program. It was a 3-day program, but the camp closed. Wisconsin Canoe Base closed in the early, I think, late 1980s, I believe. I worked there in 1980. Did I complete your question?
Yeah. I think if you think of any more questions, I put them in the chat or hang around for what we can have a little discussion after the close of the roundtable. So with that, let's move on to announcements time. First thing, Matt, can you tell us about the conference last month? I hear it was great.
Yeah, the conference was a blast. Those of you who couldn't make it, we missed you dearly. We hope at the next one we'll be able to catch you all there. We ended up having 87 people there, and about half of them, actually a little over half, were there early for many of the pre-conference presentations we had. Marty was there, presented the Seton Naturalist program. Julie Seton was our keynote speaker. She did a fantastic job. We had a number of excellent presentations from everyone from the Forest Service to Julie Seton to some local university professors that talked about some local conservation issues here in Utah. Weather was fantastic. The people were fantastic. The food was fantastic. We did, as we always do, hand out the Distinguished Outdoor Ethics Service Award. One of our recipients is Michelle, actually. She received that. So let's give her a hand. And I believe we've got at least one other of our recipients here. Sarah Holtz received.
Susie's on too.
And Susie, yes, Susie. How can I forget Susie? Yes. Susie's on here tonight. So those
and
are
Ted.
And Ted. Okay. All right.
Randa.
So is Randy here too? Anyways, so yes, we had Randa, we had Susie, we had Michelle, we had Sarah and Ted. And am I forgetting anyone? I apologize. I know we had 6. Anyways, everybody's here.
Fred Thornley.
Fred, that's right, Fred. We had Fred Thornley. So congratulations to them. Very well deserved for that. And then we gave one to an organization, to the Philmont Rangers. They received the Organizational Distinguished Service Award for Outdoor Ethics. So anyone want to add anything that was there? It was a fantastic conference.
Conservationist Award to Dave O'Leary.
That's right. And we can't forget Dave, our favorite Dave O'Leary received the Distinguished Conservationist Award. So that was also fantastic and very well deserved. James asked if we've announced the location for the next conference. No, we have not. That is still being discussed. And as soon as we have information about that, that will be put out to you. So
Yeah, and so James, just a reminder that the Outdoor Ethics Conference is every other year. So next year is the Outdoor Programs Conference, which National will run, and I believe that one's at Philmont. And I have the date somewhere. So I know it's in September.
yes, that's correct. So the next conference that we would run would be in 2026. So, and location, dates, everything that's pending discussion. So
Thank you, Matt.
Yep.
So, I forgot to mention before, usually we'd have Scott Anderson come on and give us an FAQ. He wasn't unable to do it this time. He's traveling back from the Leave No Trace Global Summit, which was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. So looked like that was another great conference as well. So with that, to the next one. Put in a plug for level 2 instructor courses. These are the ones that are scheduled at this point. And as always, if you've want to find out more, find out what the current classes are scheduled. They're on the web. The website is right there, and check them out. So, and if you've already been, encourage somebody else to go. It'd be a great opportunity. Well, you'll know it's a great course if you've been into it. So, and Ted just posted that August Northern Tier Level 2 course dates should be out in the next month or so. So hopefully next month's Roundtable will be posting those. Okay, as always, I'd love to put your pictures into these slides. So if you have any that you think are good, please send them to Roundtable at outdoorethics-bsa.org. And you can see your pictures in a future presentation. Also, always appreciate your feedback. You can fill out this form at the tiny URL link here on the screen, or you can just send an email to Roundtable at outdoorethics-bsa.org. And we really appreciate your feedback. suggestions for topics, things that are interesting to you. How can we help you? Let us know. And that's how we get the roundtables that are the most valuable for you. And next month's roundtable will be outdoor ethics and conservation in the new 2024 Cub Scout program. So I hope to see everybody there. And now it's time. I'd like to close with my my Leopold moment, if you would. It's fortunate, perhaps, that no matter how intently one studies the 100 little dramas of the woods and meadows, one can never learn all the salient facts about any of them. So here's an idea. Next time you're out with a group, or even out by yourself, stop, pick out something that catches your interest, something that you like there, and think, what would you like to learn more about that? What questions do you have about that animal or that plant, that geology, whatever it is? Stop and ask the questions, and then go back and try and do some research, see what you can figure out. How much can you learn about that one thing? If you've got a group, just think what the group can come back with and educate and inspire each other with what they found out. So that's the close of our meeting for tonight. Thank you so much.